Lionel Messi is the GOOT. Pele is the GOAT. Now, what is the GOOT? The GOOT is the greatest of our time. Pele is the greatest of all time. Now, I know that's going to upset a lot of you, but there's a few things that you have to understand. I don't care if you have an opinion on this, but if you were not alive when Pele was the king of soccer, and you didn't see him play, and you didn't see how the world reacted to him, I'm sorry, but your opinion is meaningless. Because it's easy to just say, oh, the current guy is the greatest of all time, without you having any experience in watching the guy that actually is the greatest of all time, except for on some video clips, if you even bothered. There is no comparison. There is no comparison. I'm old enough to have seen Pele play live in person at the stadium here in the United States when he played for the Cosmos. I was old enough at the time to go to the stadium and watch him play. So I didn't even see him in his prime, but I saw him. And then I saw every soccer superstar afterwards in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, up till this very day, World Cup 2026. And everybody's throwing around Messi's the GOAT, the GOAT. No, he is not the GOAT. He's the GOOT. He's a great, great player. No doubt about it. But he's not Pele. There's a video on YouTube. Pele did it first. Everything you see every superstar do, Pele did it, and it's on video. Imagine if we had all the footage of Pele in HD or in any kind of quality. We have only a certain amount of Pele footage, and it's already amazing. And whoever made that video matched Pele plays and goals to Zidane play and goals, Ronaldinho play and goals, Messi plays and goals. Pele did it first. But here's another important thing. I live in the United States. I'm Brazilian born. I lived in Brazil for a while in the 80s after living here in the 70s and seeing Pele play. I saw all the Brazilian greats. I saw Maradona. I saw all those guys. And here's the thing that people in the United States and anywhere else in the world, they forget or just don't know about the importance of Pele in the United States. Without Pele coming to play in the Cosmos in the 1970s, American soccer, which I know a lot of you are going to think, oh, American soccer, American soccer sucks. No, it doesn't. But without Pele, there would be no World Cup 94 in the United States, which was the biggest World Cup at the time. The United States team would have never developed the way it did without Pele. The MLS League would not be where it is today without Pele, because it's one big snowball effect, one butterfly effect. One thing led to the other. With the team that the United States had not played in the World Cup since 1950 at the time. And then it finally made it back to the World Cup in 1990 at the Italy World Cup, I believe it was. Now, who was on that team in 1990? It was a bunch of kids, basically college kids, that grew up in the Pele Cosmos era. It was Pele and Cosmos that turned them on into soccer at a time where in America, not that many people were paying attention. Me, as a Brazilian kid living in the United States, I barely was paying attention to soccer. My uncle took me to these games, and my father and my other uncle. That's the only reason, but I still was more interested in football and baseball, NFL. But Pelé and the Cosmos caught the attention of some kids, and those kids went on to play soccer. And then they grew up, and they went to college, and they played soccer, and then they made the national team. And in 1989, they qualified for the 1990 World Cup. And those guys have credited the Cosmos and Pelé. Well, that 1990 World Cup led to the U.S. getting the 1994 World Cup to host it. And then the 1994 World Cup success led to the MLS, etc., etc., etc. One big snowball effect. The United States soccer today would not be what it is, including women's soccer, without Pelé. Messi didn't do that. Messi's playing now in the United States. He's not revolutionizing or changing American soccer. You know, he's filling stadiums, but Pelé did that too. But Pelé planted a seed. Pelé was a seed that changed American soccer. So that's just one thing. But let's go back now to on the field. Pelé has 3 World Cup wins. Okay, 3. And he did it, I think, by the age of 30, 31. Messi has 1. There's a chance he might get a second one now. But Pelé already has 3. Pelé has scored over 1,000 goals. Pelé scored all kinds of goals with his left foot, right foot, head. He knew how to do everything. Messi, as great as he is, he basically has one type of game style, and he uses his left foot, and that's basically it. Not that that obviously has not detracted from his career, obviously, because he is the GOOT. He is the greatest of our time. There's no doubt about that. But again, if you're 20, 25, 30, 40, you can't tell me that Messi is better than Pelé because you didn't see Pelé play. You didn't see Pelé stop a war when he visited an African country. There are greats and then there are GOATs. Muhammad Ali is the GOAT in boxing. There might be boxers that would probably beat Ali, but he's still the GOAT. Michael Jordan is the GOAT in basketball. Nobody's going to take that. There's just no way. And Pelé is the GOAT in soccer. He's done everything. He's won 3 World Cups. And he did it in the 50s, in the 60s, and in the 70s. In the 50s and in the 60s, when there were no yellow or red cards, Pelé was hunted on the field. He was not protected like players today are, like Messi is. The fields were shit. The pitch, the cleats were old school. The balls were heavy. The defenders were out to break your leg, and that almost happened in the 1966 World Cup. And it happened, he got hurt in the 62 World Cup too. So while some of you will say, oh, well, back then the opposition wasn't as good. Well, if the opposition wasn't as good, then why didn't we see more Pelés? Why was there only one? And then a whole bunch of other superstars. If everybody sucked, then if that's your reasoning, then why wasn't there more Pelés? So here's the other thing also. If you think it was easy back then, go on YouTube and look for the 1966 official FIFA World Cup film. It's called Goal, Goal. It's an entire movie documentary on the World Cup in 66. Shot on film, it's beautiful. And it shows you with very little voiceovers and stuff like that, the goals and moments of a lot of the games. And the pace is fast, It's brutal on anybody with the ball because the defenders are on top of you, you know. And that was 1966. But everybody sees a clip of a goal here and there. They're like, oh, look how slow things were. It was so much easier. No, I don't think it was easier at all. Now, with perfect little light cleats and a perfect ball and, perfect pitch and a ref that is out there to protect you, give me a break. You even have water breaks now. So, once again, you have to look at the big picture. Why do you think that Hall of Fames wait 5 years? For example, the Baseball and Football Hall of Fame. They wait 5 years until a player is retired to decide whether that player is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Why do they do that? They do that because they don't want to decide things in the heat of the moment. So right now, Messi is in a World Cup playing, and everybody's, oh, the greatest of all time, greatest of all time. Calm down. You don't decide these things while a player is still active. It's best to wait. Let his career end. Look at it in retrospect. Let it cool off a little bit. And then you could compare. And again, you can compare if you didn't see Pele play. And I'm old enough that I did. In 1976, I started going, I think it was 76, maybe 75, I think it was 76, started going to games. I was 9. 1977 came along, and I went to a game in the summer of 77 at Giants Stadium, this stadium right here, okay? In the summer of 77. I was sitting in the lower tier, and I think I was with my uncle that day. And I was in the lower tier, but I was kind of midway up. So I remember telling him, I go, I'm going to walk down to the field level area right against the railing at the stadium, because I want to look at the game from field level. And I'll just kind of like, get low and kind of like look behind the railing, maybe nobody will bother me. So I get up, I walk down, I go to the railing, and I stay there, I think probably for like 5 minutes, until an attendant, that works at the stadium came up to me and said, you can't stay there. You got to go back to your seat. So I went back to my seat. I was 10 at the time. About 4 months later, it was Pele's farewell game at the same stadium, Giants Stadium. And I went again, I believe, with my uncle. And when we got to the stadium, I remember vividly, we bought 2 things. We bought a banner that had Pele on it and said like farewell game. I think it was September, October, something, 1977, and date on it. I still have it. It's hanging in my other room. And I bought the magazine of the game, the program. It was a special program on Pele's last game. So when you look through it, there's all kinds of, Pele stats and, ads and all kinds of, stuff. Here he's like a Fabergé, cologne or whatever. So all kinds of stories and stuff like that. So at the stadium, I was paging through this magazine that same day as I was there. And then I saw this photo right here. This is like right in the middle of the magazine. And I said, wait a second. That is me right there. Because I remember this was basically 3 months later, and I'm like, hey, that's me. I remember going down there and trying to sneak a peek from a closer view, and then I got basically kicked back to my seat. So I was like, wow, I'm in a photo with Pele and in the magazine for his farewell game. So, not that I need proof, but here's my proof that I was at the game, that I saw Pele. That's That's me right there. So yeah, so I've had this magazine since, and I have the banner in my other room. But anyway, it's very frustrating to, you know, see all this goat business being thrown around by people that have no clue. No clue. All this hype that we see with Messi now, that all already happened with Pelé. The Cosmos were playing under a bridge in New York in 1972. Let me repeat that. The New York Cosmos were playing under a bridge on a field full of glass in 1972 and 73 and 74. When Pelé came, the stadium, at the brand new Giant Stadium, capacity 76,000, was filling up every game. So even this, Pelé did it first. Messi selling out stadiums in America is not something that he, invented. This was happening with this guy right here. The Cosmos had bigger attendance than the Giants that played at the stadium at the time. And then after Pelé left, retired in 77, the league still had a few more good years, and then it just collapsed. They basically spent and didn't manage their money properly. And then the 1980s was a black hole of soccer in the United States, non-existent practically, dead. Soccer was basically dead, except for the fact that this guy planted a seed in the mid-70s in the United States. And that seed in 1989 grew up enough to qualify for the 1990 World Cup. And then the rest is history. So I don't know. I can throw you all kinds of stats, all kinds of things, but that's where I'm at. Don't try to tell me Messi is the GOAT if you never saw the actual GOAT play, or you didn't even live on this planet, exist on this planet while this madness was happening. So all this Messi madness is nothing new. It's all been done before, and it's been done better with 3 World Cups and 1,000 goals in all kinds of ways. So that's it. Don't mean to be offensive to Messi fans. He's an amazing player. He's the GOOT, the greatest of our time. Absolutely. Phenomenal. But he's the GOAT. And I don't know if there's a way that Messi could overtake that. Just to be fair, I will say this. If Messi were to win this World Cup in 2026, he obviously gets a little closer, right? And if he were to come back in 4 years and win it again and have 3 World Cups, then I will say, okay, we have a draw. But right now, it's not even close. It's not even, go educate yourself. Go watch some Pelé videos and understand the situation. Understand the environment that he played in. Sports medicine wasn't anywhere near what it is today. The equipment wasn't anywhere near what it is today. The fields, the pitch, the conditions in the stadium, the transportation, none of that. And he still managed to do things that nobody else could do, and that nobody else could do today. So educate yourself. I'm not saying Messi's not great. He is obviously great. But he's not the GOAT. And he very unlikely will ever be the GOAT in soccer. So that's my take. Thanks for watching.